Hello, welcome back. Hi, Jerome. Hi, Latrice.
Hi.
Hi, Mrs. Franklin.
Okay, so this time, since this is our second session, we're not going to have to go over confidentiality again. I do ask that if you guys have any questions about that, please come forth and ask me anything now. Is everybody understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to start off, last week when we met, we did some role playing. We used some iMessages. We made a goal together. And we also did a miracle question. So everybody's miracle question came to happiness. So everybody here wants happiness, is that correct? Okay, and then in the role play, from my understanding last week, is that Jerome and Latrice, you guys were having a little bit of a disagreement on chores and homework, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, has anything improved in that?
Not really.
No? Okay. So first to begin, I want to go over our goal that we had last week. So you guys all agreed on going to the park together and spending like an hour together. Is that correct? Okay. And do you guys want to tell me how that went, Mrs. Franklin?
Yeah, well, we did go to the park, and we stayed there for probably 45 minutes, closer to an hour. But I don't think that it was everything that maybe I thought it was going to be, because before we left, I asked that the kids do their chores and get homework done, and they didn't. So, we kind of had like a sour attitude going to the park. But like I said, we did go, and it was okay. It was just kind of tense.
Okay. Latrice, how did you feel about going to the park?
Well, I did do my part of the chores. It was Jerome who didn't do his. And I was not going to pick up on his slack for him, so we got into it because he didn't do his part of the chores. And I really didn't even want to go to the park, but I only went because I agreed to, and I just wanted to make my mom happy.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to practice iMessages again. So Latrice, if you could tell us how you felt using iMessages about going to the park.
Okay. Well, I felt upset that I did my part, and I didn't feel like anybody else did theirs. I didn't want to go to the park at that point because I was very upset about the fact that I did everything that I was supposed to and certain other people didn't, and they didn't get reprimanded for it.
Okay. And Jerome, tell me how you felt about going to the park.
I was really excited to go because I haven't been there in a while. But then everybody just started getting mad at each other again, and I washed the dishes, and I don't know why they got angry. But
So you did do your chores then before you went to the park?
I washed the dishes.
Okay.
You didn't sweep the floors.
Okay,
You did
so
vacuum.
I'm sensing a little bit of tension between you guys about the topic of the chores. So what we're going to do is we're going to role play again. So do you guys remember how we did that last week, where you guys, like you're doing now, sit next to each other, but let's face each other a little more. And I want you guys to talk to each other and role play the argument that you had.
I washed the dishes. I don't know why you're mad at me.
Because you were supposed to sweep the floors and vacuum too, but you didn't do that.
Well, I didn't know that.
Bless you.
Yes,
Sorry.
you did.
Thanks.
No, I didn't.
Mom made it pretty clear before we were supposed to go. You were supposed to do this. I was supposed to do this. She was going to do this. You didn't finish your tasks.
But I really wanted to go to the park.
Well, you should have done what you were supposed to do. You knew what you had to do for us to go. I was not going to pick up on your slack for you. I'm so sick of always picking up on your slack.
Okay, so now you guys are using a lot of yous. So once again, let's practice our iMessages with one another. Latrice, tell Jerome how you felt using iMessages that he didn't finish his chores. How did that make you feel?
It frustrates me because my mom and I, before you and your sister started living with us, we didn't have these kind of disagreements. The house was a lot cleaner because we didn't have two other kids who were messing it up all the time. We were able to do things like this without having arguments. But ever since you and your sister started living with us, I feel very frustrated, very stressed out, because now the house is a lot dirtier. There's a lot more that we have to do. I feel like you don't even do what you're supposed to do. I feel like I'm always picking up after you. I really don't like it.
Okay, great. Jerome, do you want to do the same thing, use iMessages to Latrice?
Well, I didn't feel like the floor was that dirty, and I didn't really know that I was supposed to do that. Like, I don't remember Aunt Jess saying that. Like, I remember doing the dishes. There was a lot of dishes. I did them. I just really want to go to the park because the faster you do the dishes, faster we got to go to the park.
Okay. Mrs. Franklin, how do you feel after seeing them role play the argument they had about the chores? How does that make you feel?
I still feel frustrated. I think that there's a lot of tension between Latrice and I because she wants to be a parent. She doesn't want to be a parent, but she wants to be a parent to Jerome. She wants to tell him what to do. So she's mad at me. But when I tell Jerome what to do, Jerome's mad at me. And I'm just trying to take care of these kids. I wanted to go to park too. I wanted to have a good day with them. And seems like nobody really had a good time just because we couldn't agree on, I guess, responsibility.
Okay. So let me ask you, do you have designated chores at home for each of them to do? Like, do they each have an assigned chore that they're supposed to have done?
They do. Sometimes it changes. Jerome normally does dishes, and Latrice, sometimes she does the vacuuming. So she helps me with the laundry. A lot of times I'll do the laundry or I'll do dishes if Jerome didn't do it. Janaea, she's too young, so we don't really, she doesn't really do a whole lot of chores besides cleaning up her room. But, I would say we work together, but, we just kind of do our own pieces of the chores to try to make sure all of it gets done.
Okay. Latrice, how would you feel if we started using a chart to record all of the times that everyone does their chores? How would that make you feel?
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure how much that'll help because I feel like certain people are not going to want to look at it. Certain people are still not going to want to do what they're supposed to.
But
Even
how
with
does it
visual.
make you feel? Using those iMessages again like we practiced earlier?
I mean, I think it'd be helpful for me at least.
Okay. And Jerome, how do you think that would make you feel if we started using a chart?
Well, I mean, I would see what I would have to do instead of just guessing. Like, I know I do the dishes, but, like, I didn't know I was supposed to sweep the floor, vacuum the floor. Like, that would help a lot.
Okay. Mrs. Franklin, after hearing how they feel about a chart, how do you think that would impact your family?
I think it might be worth a shot. Before we went to the park, I told the kids, we need to have the floor swept, we need to do the dishes. And at that time, I actually hadn't told them individually which one they were responsible for.
Okay.
So I think that maybe having specific responsibilities that are lined up instead of just being what we normally do, that might actually help.
Okay, so I think that since you guys are all agreeing on doing a chore chart, I think that that's going to be our goal for next week. So what I want you guys to do is to sit down together for 15 minutes or so and create this chore chart with one another. I want you guys to give each other a designated chore that you will do every single day for that week. And then at the end of each of those chores, I think that there should be a reward. Say on Wednesday, Jerome, you do the dishes, Latrice, you vacuum. And then at the end of that, you guys go out for ice cream together or something. That way that you guys know that if you do your chores, you're doing something good and you're going to get something good in return. How do you guys feel about that? Okay. All right, so next week what I want you guys to do is bring in your chore list for the week that we are apart. We're going to go over that together and review that with one another. And make any changes that we need to in order to see some progress with one another. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay. I appreciate you guys coming in. I'll see you guys next week, okay? All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.